Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new lesson on the JRPG Academy. Today I am joined with Professor Supavillain. This is a special episode because we're going to have a substitute teacher come in and teach you guys about what makes a great JRPG villain. From none other than a person who knows about supervillains the most.
I do love me a good villain. And for this, I had to think really hard about this because there is a lot of things that can make a really good villain. But I think there are three key things that make a good JRPG villain specifically.
Okay.
I think a compelling story. I think that it's cool to have a villain that's a villain for villain's sake. But I think what makes a great villain are villains that have a good story behind them. Two, they have to have overwhelming power. And when I say, okay, I'll explain. You're playing this game for hours, like a lot of hours, and a lot of the point is getting stronger. He's strong enough to overcome this threat that is the villain. And three, they have to be well designed. You look at them and they have an iconic design. I'm just gonna be cliche and I'm gonna use Sephiroth as my first example.
Okay.
He looks cool.
He does.
He has an iconic look. He is the anime swordsman and he has a great story behind him. I mean, how else are you supposed to react when you realize that you're pretty much like a test tube baby?
Yeah.
And your mom's a rock.
Not a rock.
And power?
Yeah.
He's strong. He's one of the most powerful anime villains out there. So I think Sephiroth is as iconic as he is because who can't sympathize with a story like that? Is the outcome is perfect? That's debatable. He's cool to look at and just you love watching him do things.
Yeah.
And he's just cool. He has power that you have to overcome. You weren't just gonna run up and fight him.
No, not with that sword.
You weren't. You were not. You had to get good. And then you finally got to beat him. So Sephiroth, I think, fits that criteria. However, I also think that there are some villains that can have a lot in one department and not as much in another and still be good. And for this, I chose the Persona 5 royal villain, Maruki.
Okay, give us a little backstory on him because I will. I'm super familiar. I didn't play
Maruki
Royal yet.
Is kind of one of the extra characters you get, and he's the counselor.
Oh, that's the doctor-looking dude.
Yeah.
Glasses open.
Yes. He is the main villain of the royal portion. Now, overwhelming power. He can literally rewrite reality.
That's pretty busted.
Amazing backstory. Bro went through hardship after his girlfriend got amnesia. Well, I'm sorry, his fiance got amnesia, couldn't remember him. This man was on the forefront of some really great research until Shido was like, shut it down. Don't even let anybody else try this. And so he just got ripped of all of his funding. And he was right, by the way. He had a bright future and Shido was like, no. And we all remember Shido.
Yes.
And I mean, look at him. People think he's hot.
I'm one of them. I don't even want to actually play that whole game again.
Okay, true. But as a villain, I think he's great. However, what I said before is that he can have two things that are really good and one thing that's really bad. The two things that he has that are really good, overwhelming power, great backstory. His design, however,
it's a little basic.
No. I'm not talking about the design you meet him as. I'm talking, as you know, in Persona 5. You get the mask, you get your whole like palace outfit.
Mm-hmm.
His palace fit is atrocious. His palace fit is bad. However, if you ask any Persona fan that has played Persona 5 Royal, who do you think is a good villain? I guarantee you, 60 to 70% of them are going to choose him. He's that good of a villain. So, I think you can't have one because there's plenty of people who have one. Like, I know people love Kefka, but he only has one. And that's overwhelming power. His story is like, I don't even know. It's like, I'm evil. Okay, cool. What else is there to you? Or if you're like a weak villain, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, there's a lot of those too.
Like, what are we doing here that you're like, I guess we just spent 90 hours grinding so you could just go down in a couple hits? They don't feel satisfying. I think you have to have at least 2 though.
Yeah, you definitely have to, at the least.
At the very least, you have to have 2, and I think that will make a compelling villain that will make you want to play a game for 30 plus hours. I think them being a goal, a cool goal to just overcome is really what makes the villain, all right? Yeah. They have to be cool looking, they have to be powerful, they have to have a good story. Those are the 3 things I think it mattered most.
I would wholeheartedly agree with all of that. I think that definitely hits on all of the points that you would need to make a good villain.
I mean, just think about all the villains that you love. I'm pretty sure they have at least 2 of those things.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, I know one of your favorite villains is Mallow from Xenoblade 2.
Oh my God, that man, that design is great.
Now, there we go.
That armor design,
he's powerful as hell.
Yes.
Like, all the crap we had to go through just to match him.
Yeah, I mean, you had the Monado.
Yes. His story is kind of,
yeah.
But that's fine. Yeah, because he had 2 of the great things about him.
Yes. Yeah, he had Riz too.
Yes. Which is why I also think that the villain for 3 wasn't as good.
Are you talking about the main villain?
Yes.
Oh,
main villain for 3. I don't think he was as good.
Oh. I don't think he had any of the 3, honestly.
I mean, his design, you could argue that he had overwhelming power.
Okay, he definitely had that.
But his design was meh. And his story was like, meh. I don't want things to change. I want everything to be the same.
Yeah, it was very like, okay, bruh, calm down.
Like, Evil Noah was cooler than him.
I love Evil Noah.
Evil Noah should have been the main villain. And I was really hoping that there was going to be some twist.
I thought that was going to be a twist, but no.
But no, we beat his ass.
All right, so that's probably the end of this lesson. Do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up, or anything people need to start doing for homework?
I think for homework, when you think of a good villain, I want you to put down your favorite villains and think of those 3 criteria and see what applies. Because I promise you're going to think of villains that you don't like, and you're going to be like, why don't I like them? And you're going to see they're not going to be hitting at any of those, or not even 2. Think critically about your villains, because a story, in my opinion, is only as good as its villain when it comes to JRPGs. If I don't have an end goal to fight at the end of it, then why am I spending 30 plus hours doing it?
Because of the friends you meet along the way.
No, man. I don't care about friends. I need a reason to run a fade, man. Run them hands. Okay. And give me a good reason to.
All right. Thanks, Professor Supavillain, for attending this episode. And yeah, we'll see you next lesson.
So remember, you're in my arena. So like, comment, and subscribe.